Kitty here, and welcome back to another episode of ChuSingura. Continuing right from where we left off last time, we had quite the shocking revelation that Kira was still alive. And yeah. And also, we also witnessed our other comrades like Chikara, Yasubi, and Fu, and the Chamberlain, and all that, they were committing seppuku. And we're kind of back in time to when they were still alive in captivity right now. Doing it under the perspective of Suga now. And we're seeing that Kira is still alive. And now he's on his way to Akko to meet with Okuno so that he can set up a raid, basically, or something like that, to try and kill Kira properly this time. So, let's see how it turns out. Thanks for waiting.
Yeah, それほど待ってねえよ。
Wait, that's Gunby's voice.
じゃあすぐはさっさと行くとしようぜ。
I knew it, that's Gunby. Gunby. Let's go.
すぐはお前
Okuno, it's nice to see you. It is I, Fukami Suga. I have come back after being turned away from the Sanzo River for not having the 6 mon coins required.
どういうことだそれに軍兵衛まで
いや、このすぐはが面白い話をしたんでね。ちょいと付き合う羽目になっちまったんですよ。
面白い話
Hurrying out of Edo for 10 days, Gunbei and I visited the house where Okuno lived in Akko. The time before last, Okuno disguised herself as a farmer and waited the report on how the raid went. She stood in front of us, unable to hide her shock at seeing me and Gunbei in front of her. Inviting Gunbei was, of course, my decision. If we were to immobilize the second formation, her cooperation would be indispensable. I asked her because I thought she would listen and join us.
なんだとそれではキラが生きているというのか
I talked to Okuno about the results of the raid, and about the rumors in Edo after it.
俺も最初、その話を聞いた時には信じられませんでしたよ。なんせ、町の噂じゃ、赤穂浪士が見事、キラを討ち取ったと大騒ぎだったんですから。けど、すぐはな話を聞いたら、どうもそうじゃないかもしれねえと分かって。
信じられぬ。キラに影武者など。
But when I take the information that Kohita gathered, it all fits in place.
奥野さんは五条代から万が一のため第二陣の大将を任されてたんですよね。俺は今の話の真偽はともかく調べる必要はあると思います。そして誠にキラが生きていたら、その時はどうします？キラを撃ちますか？もちろん俺たちは奥野さんに強制はしません。ただ奥野さんが立たなくても俺たちだけでもキラを撃ちますよ。
キラを撃つか。だが軍兵衛、お前怪我をしたのではなかったのか？
ああ、確かに片方の腕は満足に動きません。けど一人二人の相手くらいはできますよ。
軍兵衛。
Okuno, as Gunbei says, we will not force anything from this point on. But if you do not make a move, then we will. And this is important. The night the Chamberlain and the rest of us raided the estate, that night, the one we killed was the real Kira. The Kira we think is in the care of the Yasuge family is the fake. You cannot forget this.
今、上杉家にいるキラが偽物？
だがすがそれでは
No, I am positive that the one left alive is the body double. That is the way it must be. On the night of the raid, we killed the real Kira. The one still alive is his body double. Why did I say this? The answer is exceedingly obvious. If the Kira we killed the night of the raid was the body double, then starting with the Chamberlain and Chikara, what would happen to the position of all those who participated? After capturing a fake, they ended up performing seppuku. That means they died for nothing. That is the one thing I cannot admit. This must go according to history. That means, in order to pay off the grudge from their late lord, 46 Ronin Admirali killed the arch-enemy Kira Kozukinosuke. That is the only truth we need. This is a noble, heroic legend that has been told for over 300 years. Honestly, I don't really care if it is the real Kira or not. But I just can't allow anyone to exist in this world who appears to be Kira Kozukinosuke. Kira Kozukinosuke is someone who must not exist in this world. The second formation? It doesn't matter if Okuno is its leader. I have no intention of making her do anything. Originally, Okuno has a gentle and sincere personality and acted as a regulator among the retainers. She was not suited to battle. Even if I have to do it alone, I will kill Kira.
なるほど。確かにすぐはの申す通りだ。本物だろうが偽物だろうが関係ねえよな。それに、俺もそいつは偽物だと思うぜ。その偽物があろうことかキラのふりをしようとしてやがるんだ。それは絶対に見逃しちゃならねえよな。見逃したら安兵衛たちの武功に泥を塗られることになっちまう。
Gunbei.
なるほど。生きているキラが影武者か。なら、その影武者は上杉家で隠匿後、ほとぼりが冷めた後に、実は討ち取られてないなどと申す気かもしれぬな。そんなこと、悪王の人間として断じて許すことはできぬ。
Okuno.
ならば。
私も江戸に下る。そして、その影武者を成敗してくれようぞ。
おう。
Okay. Thus, the second formation decided to mobilize. We left Akko that day and arrived in Edo just after New Year's had ended. Upon returning to Edo, we heard some important information from Kohita, who had been monitoring the Isuge's movements. It considered a previously unused separate spare room in the Isuge estate. The room was lighting a lantern every night. Also, the servants were carrying food to that room 3 times a day. From that information, we decided that our target was hiding in there, and started surveillance of the Isuge estate 24 hours a day. Finally, one morning, 2 weeks after we started the surveillance, a single palanquin left the rear gates of the estate, concealing its occupant. After leaving, it slowly headed north, and headed towards Nikoa Oshu highways. The Oshu Highway. At its end lay the main castle of the Isuge, Hanzawa Castle. Thus, pursuers all the way from Edo, we headed off the palanquin down the highway and lay in wait.
本当にこの道を通るんだろうな。
焦るな、軍兵衛。米沢藩が参勤でこの峠を通るのは間違いない。
なら、そろそろ来てもいい頃なんだが。
They're wearing the raid uniforms. Gunby is getting nervous, though I do understand how she feels. It has already been an hour since we started to lay in the wait. But Itaya Mountain Pass through precipitation is the shortest route to Edo. Just as Okuno said, it is well used by the Yonezawa Han. The palanquin will surely pass here.
おい、すぐは。お前、脇腹を押さえているが、 どこか体の調子でも悪いのか？
Huh? Oh no, that's not it. Don't worry about it.
そうか。
お、
小平太、来たか？
へい、山頂ほど戻ったところにカゴを乗せた一行が。
How many were in the escort?
それが10人に増えてやした。
米沢に近くなったことで護衛の数を増やしたか。
江戸を出る時の護衛の数は4人。だが、それは周囲の目を欺くためだったのだろうな。
そういうことでしょうね。大人数でカゴを守ってたりしたら中の人間が誰なのか興味を持たれる。けど奥野さん、護衛の人数が増えたからといって今さら襲撃はなしだなんて申さないでしょうね。
もちろんだ。皆の者、手はず通りで行くぞ。
Nod.
ならば、最後に3人に申しておくことがある。軍兵衛、小平太、すぐは。今からの我らの戦い、歴史には決して残らぬ戦いとなるであろう。いや、残してはならぬ戦いにしなければならない。よって、無事戦いを終えても、一切を秘密とし、口外することは許されぬぞ。それはすなわち、我らは裏切り者の汚名を着せられたまま、一生を過ごすことと同義じゃ。されど、蔵之助以下、46名の輝かしい武功を後世に残すため、我らが、その汚名という泥を、あえて被ろうではないか。
The moment I heard those words, my eyes snapped open and felt my pulse heighten. In order to preserve the brilliant exploits of the 46th into the future, we will cover ourselves in the mud of dishonor. Yes. The things about to happen must be buried in history. They must never see the light of day. This is to protect our comrades' honor and nothing else. Okuno, Gunbei, Kohita. But I? Only I know. Though this act of valor will not be written in history, I know that such samurai as you three existed. I am the only one who knows. And I will never forget that.
何やつ？
我ら、旧赤穂藩の家臣である。本日は、そのカゴに乗っておられる方のお顔を拝見したく、水産つかまつった。
なんだと？貴様ら、無礼であるぞ。
ほう、手向かうか。ならば力ずくでも顔を拝ませていただく。
くせ者じゃ！出会え！出会え！
はあ！
おい、ご隠居様をカゴからお出ししろ。逃がすのじゃ。
There really was Kira. That's the old noble who emerged from the palanquin. His appearance and that of the Kira I saw the night of the raid was as two peas in a pod. This is definitely Kira riding in the palanquin. No Kira's body double.
菅葉、何をしている？追いかけろ！
Okay. I returned to myself at Gunbei's rebuke. The old man had his back to us and, by the looks of it, was planning on running. I hurried to the chase after him. But before I could, a wall of his guardsmen stood in my way.
ここは決して抜かせぬぞ。
Shit.
菅葉、雑魚には構うな！お前は影武者を追え！
軍兵衛の申す通りだ。
深見さん、ここは我らにお任せを。
Okay. I don't have time to deal with the weak ones. What I should be doing is chasing after the body double. Ha! Hey! Without actually trying to cut the retainers, I simply mow down the men in front of me to open a path. But the body double is already out of sight. Crap. You guys, I'm going ahead. With that, I chased after the body double. Fuck. Where did he run to? I left my 3 friends behind and chased the body double, but he unexpectedly disappeared. But considering his age, there's no way he could have already shaken me off. The only reason I couldn't see him was because he had ran and hid down a byroad of the highway. The perfect place to hide in a grove of trees. But even if he hides, he's going to leave footprints whether he wants to or not. I attentively observe my surroundings and make sure if there weren't any human footprints. Just then, a samurai quietly revealed themselves in front of me.
あれ、お兄ちゃん、こんなところで人探し？
Yes. Lying in wait before me was a one-eyed samurai wielding a longsword. Her name was Yamayoshi Shinpachiro. I see. I thought you might be here.
へえ、その口ぶりだとお兄ちゃん、わっちが来ることが分かってたみたいね。
Yeah, I guess. The night of the raid, you never showed yourself to me. I knew back then she was in Edo. I wasn't very surprised to see her here in the mountain of Tokuku, northeast Japan mountains. Shinpachi, why did you never appear before me that night? You should have been in the Kira state that day. Oh yeah, it took a while to bring the Chamberlain here. Did you meet with any enemies on the way?
いえ、途中ではなく、直前に敵らしきものに遭遇していたのです。姿は見えなかったのですが、気づいたら吹っ飛ばされてしまって、それで少し足をくじいてしまったのです。
なあ、そういえば忠七はなぜそのように衣装が濡れているのだ？
それが聞いてくださいよ。キラを捜索中、突然すげえ速さで敵が切りつけてきやがって、気づいたら池にドボンですよ。
ほう、そのような猛者がいたとはな。
Shinpachi, that night is the reason you didn't appear before me despite being there? Because you had a more important mission than fending us off?
さすがお兄ちゃん、鋭いな。そうよ。あの夜、わっちの役目は左兵衛様をお救いすること。
Mr. Sayoi is Kira's son.
そう。キラ家の当主は、上野之助様ではなく、左兵衛様だもん。その命をお守りすることは、家臣として当然のことよ。
So that's why after saving Sayoi, you had no more business there. But no, Shinpachi, from the start you knew there was no need to save Kira. Otherwise, there would be no way you would leave while such an exquisite prey like me was there. An ironic diversion. Even when I accused her like this, Shinpachi just stands there and smiles without batting an eyelid.
大丈夫よ。次にお兄ちゃんと会うときは、互いに命のやりとりをしたいもん。それが、無駄に命を散らしに来る赤穂の残党たちと一緒ならなおさら、楽しみだわ。
Are you saying that avenging your lord is dying needlessly?
まあ、知らぬが仏ね。
You knew about the plan to switch out Kira. Of course you did. You are a servant of Isuge, after all. But even if it was just a prediction, you knew that I would attack too.
ああ、そのこと？だって、おちびちゃんが屋敷を見張ってたじゃない。
I see. Let them swim until they get fat, is it?
そのまま放っておいたら、いつかお兄ちゃんに会えると思って。それにお兄ちゃん、赤穂の連中が預けられてる大名屋敷にその名前がなかったもん。
Of course. But sorry, Shimbachi, I don't have any time to deal with you. So withdraw. I told her to move in a stern voice and gave her a death stare. But she just calmly looked back and answered without standing on guard.
嫌よ。言ったでしょ。次会うときは命のやり取りをするって。
Shinpachi, are you sure you can't withdraw?
どけないわ。お兄ちゃんがわっちのものにならないなら地獄の底へ叩き落とす。それともお兄ちゃん、わっちと切り合うのが怖くなった？
That's right. Right now, I have to kill someone I know. When I think about that, I do get a little scared.
ふーん。本気なんだ。
You said next time we met, we wouldn't bear any bitterness, no matter who dies. Those are your words, Shinpachi.
そうね。なら、言葉通りに恨みっこなしで。
Finally, this time has come. I can never come to an understanding with her whether I appeal to her reason or emotion. I have no illusion that I can win while holding back with her either. If I don't try and crush her with all my might, the bloated corpse in the snow will be mine. This is a seed I sow myself. I am the one who has to deal with what has grown, even if it means taking Shinpachi's life. Ha! I fired the first shot of the battle by swinging first, taking the initiative, signaling to her that I was serious. Hey! Ha! Yep! Our blades bit into each other. Gushing roars like thunder nibbled my ears.
お兄ちゃんはやっぱり強いな。このままだとわっちの方が分が悪いかも。仕方ないわ。少しだけわっちも本気を出しちゃおうっと。
Suddenly, Shinpachi changed her stance. She's gripping her sword with two hands.
はー。
Her shining counterattack glittered before me. The wind enveloped her blade. The moment the shockwave reached my ears, a blow fierce enough to numb the mind came towards my blade, along with the shock. The sound of the shockwave was like the shriek of a banshee. Gah! And an intense slash like nothing I've ever seen. Just managing to take it, my legs dug into the snow. My arms felt an intense shredding pain. Wow, what pressure. The source of it was her swinging the long sword as big as a laundry pole with all her might. It was close to what we would call a kintsugi man technique in kendo. Just that she had transformed it with her own particular style. This with a sword that a regular person probably couldn't even swing with even with two hands. But for Shachi, who could swing it how she liked with just one hand, it meant her speed and power were doubled. Her power and strength were equal to with Yasubi. No, she might even be more gifted than Yasubi.
あれ、お兄ちゃん、もう降参するの？
Gah. You damned monster. Seeing that power just now, I knew I couldn't carelessly try and strike at her. Her strength is clearly not normal. If she actually hits me, I'm dead. From the top of my head to the bottom, I'll be split in two. Then what can I do? No, if I turn back here, I'm dead. Holding my sword in the Joden over the head position, I swung it down at Shachi with a scream that could curdle blood. Ha! Ha! Hey! Wait, was her defenses a little slow just now? No, it wasn't slowed. It was entirely stiff. Oh, I get it. So she can manifest that immense power when she attacks with that precise long sword of hers, but not when defending. When she moves to brush off my sword, she needs to make small, not large movements. Then, I used footwork to move in a circle around her and ended up in front of her to her right. Yes, this is good. Her expression darkened as she figured out what I was doing. Shinpachi, there is still time. Can't you sheath your sword?
冗談でしょ？
Fine. Then I'll get serious too. Ha! Ha! In absolutely no time, Shinpachi was off the offense and on the defense. Besides using a long sword not suited to defense, she had one other fatal weak point. Her eye patch. Not being able to see with one eye means that her right side is a blind spot. Then if I come at her from her blind spot, it increases my threat to her. Hup! Gah! Ha! What's wrong? Is it strange that I can repel your sword like it's nothing? Yes, your swings are intensely powerful. But there were plenty of people in the Ronin who are stronger than you. Yes. There were plenty of experienced warriors among my comrades who had overcome death together. If I flinched at this level of attack, they would never forgive me. I still have to defend them. Even though she's cornered like this, she's still full of confidence. What's going on with her? Don't tell me she has another trump card this late in the game.
まさか、わっちを本気の本気にさせる侍がこの世にいるとはね。でもお兄ちゃん、わっちを本気にさせたこと後悔するわよ。
With that, Shinpachi poked the end of her sword underneath the edge of her eye patch. Then the sound of a string snapping echoed in my ears. What? No. I was too shocked for words. For a moment, I was paralyzed by a shiver. She... You... Your eye? It wasn't simply unexpected. In terms of incidents, it was close to a nuclear meltdown. Right in front of me was Shinpachi, staring at me with her two fully perceptive eyes. No way. Shinpachi was never blind in one eye?
ああ、やっぱり両目だとよく見えるな。
Shinpachi? Why?
え？ああ、眼帯のこと？決まってるでしょ。強くなるためにしてたのよ。刀は基本振らないと稽古にならないでしょ。でも普段から片目を塞いでおけばそれだけで稽古になるわ。
So simple, a desire to become strong is almost stupid. She just figured that putting the eye patch on would make her stronger. The smell of blood is soaked right in the pith of her bones. She only wanted to become strong. So she lived most of her life with one eye behind of that. Because of that. My sense of terror was suddenly mixed with a bit of respect.
お兄ちゃんとの切り合いは楽しかったな。でも残念だけどもう終わりだよ、お兄ちゃん。朽ちろ。
Ah! The blades clashed and rang out. It wasn't that I underestimated her. I challenged Shinpachi, fully knowing her abilities. But her natural talent and physical strength far exceeded my expectations. Fine. No matter if she has two eyes now, it's not like her offense can get any better. We should be equal like this. Cut for cut. Ha ha! God! You! Ha! She's dodging me? It looked like she dodged my strike with by a hair's breadth. Ah! I was forced to gasp and move my shoulders up and down at her deft yet overwhelming strikes. Before, her perception was near perfect. Now she could fight with both eyes. Her defense has gotten better as well. Overwhelming offense and impenetrable defense. Now possessing both of those, Shinpachi has exposed her true form before me. She was merciless, baring her fangs. ほらほらお兄ちゃんぼそっとしてると切り刻んじゃうよ楽しいなガー こんな楽しい切り合いは久しぶりねえ、お兄ちゃんも楽しい？ガーは残念よガーShe's humming during a death match? Suddenly I remembered the first time I saw her. Back then she killed her opponents while smiling too. That fucked up her ferocity. Killer instinct. Her literal instinct for murder only complements it. So this is what it feels like to attend one's own death sentencing. Can I even beat her? At my wit's end with exhaustion and worry, I feel like I might lose myself in the fear. No, don't give up now. The moment I give up, I lose all chance at winning.
へえ、お兄ちゃんは油断ならないわね。そんな絶体絶命の危機の場面でも何かを考えてる。まこと、ここで死ぬのは惜しい人間だわ。でもね、お兄ちゃん、わっちだけは、お兄ちゃんが強かったって知ってるから。そして、お兄ちゃんも知っておいて。強いだけじゃ、わっちには勝てないということを。だからね、ごめんね。
A sword strike rains down from above my head like lightning. My eardrums shake at the raging wind coming off it. Swordsmanship good enough to make one draw back in fear for a moment. But I respect that fear and raise my sword over my head. Ha!
甘いわ、お兄ちゃん。お兄ちゃんが巻き上げに来るのは分かってる。
Shinpachi used the muscles throughout her whole body to get a step away from me and avoid my makiage. Her sly yet playful leap made her look like a leopard in play. But I had already figured out her dodging. I changed the direction of just the tip of my blade in midair and took a large step forward while cutting down towards her. Ha! The next moment, the sword I should have been holding was not in either of my hands. It had been sent spinning, flying in the air.
どう？お兄ちゃん、自分が教えた技で弟子に殺される気分は。そして、言ったわよね。その連続攻撃には決定的な隙ができるって。お兄ちゃん、さよならだよ。
Lusting from my open right flank, Shinpachi thrust her sword in. Ah! With her collapsed in the snow like a tree that had fallen, I quietly answered Shinpachi's question. Looks like your sword got caught on a rib. I bow my head and take something out of my bosom. That something seemed to have split cleanly in two from Shinpachi's blow. It was a thing harder than the trunk of an evergreen oak, a headstone made of rosewood. The headstone was carved with the letters Todo Kaiken Shinshi. Todo Kaiken Shinshi. Yes, it was none other than Kayano Hayamo, posthumous Buddha's name. Shinpachi, I told you that I thought you might appear before me here. That's why as soon as we decided to do this, I thought over and over again, how can I beat Shinpachi? So, Shinpachi, the fact that you would dodge my makiage, then try and use it on me right back, and that I would lose my sword, and you would target my wide open flank. I knew all of it. So I thought of something. In that case, I thought of something to do when your makiage gets dodged. Change just the tip of your blade, which is up in the air, and step into the opponent while swinging downward. What do you think? It's a pretty stupendous combination attack, right?
なるほど。 でもお兄ちゃん、その体勢だと右の胴はガラ空きになっちゃうよ。
Well, yes. But Shinpachi, you sound like you think you could dodge it when you put it like that.
はは調子に乗りました。なんだ、そっか。お兄ちゃんもあの時の会話を覚えていて、しかもあの話を逆手にとってバッジを誘ったんだね。その誘いにバッジはまんまとハマったわけだ。それでバッジの息の根は止めないの。
Sorry, but my objective today isn't to kill you.
相変わらずお兄ちゃんは優しいんだ。でもいいの？またバッジお兄ちゃんを殺しに行くかもよ。
No, I doubt we will ever meet again.
そうなの？
Yeah. So, Shinpachi, stay healthy.
わかった。なら今度こそ本当にさよならだ。
In the end, Shinpachi lost consciousness, as if falling into a sleep. I was a little worried about if the damage my blow to her head had caused to her temporal lobe or something. But I don't think it's life-threatening. I picked up my sword, which had been hit away, and headed out again, leaving Shinpachi behind. Now there was only one left. It didn't take me long to find him. The footprints that spread out ahead in the pure white snow. It was easy to tell they weren't made by some beast. Strangely, the impatience I had in the start of my fight with Shinpachi had gone completely. I followed the footsteps slowly and quietly with an unexpected calm. I heard only my own distant footsteps. When hunters chase wild bears or rabbits, there is the beacher who chases and the warptail who cooperates with the beater to kill the animal. But now, I am fulfilling both those roles alone. Tracking, then killing. I found him in a copse of trees. Upon seeing my face, he panicked and stumbled, then tried to run away. Without hurrying, I calmly chased after him. Even though I'm about to kill someone, there was not a single ripple in my heart. Thinking of the final moments to come, I reflected on each step while pacing through the snow. Eventually, he became tired from running and sat down in the snow. He would. It must be hard to exercise for such an old body to run around in the snow for so long.
なんだ貴様は何の恨みがあってこのようなことをするのだ
So, this is his final obstance. His final struggle, having exhausted all means. I saw and understood his intense tenacity to live on. He is one of those people who would plead for mercy with money or power this late in the game. I quietly opened my mouth and faced this ugly old man. Finally, we meet. Kira Kozukinosuke. No, body double of Kira Kozukinosuke. Though I am aware of the impropriety of performing a beheading in a place such as this, Fukami Suga, servant of Oishi Chikara, and to Asano Takeyumi no Kami, shall now extinguish your life. If I kill this person in front of me, I can cut the chains connecting me to this world. Still, upon meeting him, I thought I would be madder. I thought I would hammer him with curses. But the words I spoke were none other than the exiled words of honor and decorum of the samurai. Why did I say that? Perhaps there is samurai blood in me too. No, that's not it. The reason I said that was to protect the sanctity of those comrades whom I fought with. Warriors must be proud men and women. If I called on this man while showing an unsightly attitude, that would only serve to embarrass my comrades. I must have enough pride to go round for my comrades. That's why I said that in a manner of a samurai.
頼む助けてくれ助けてくれたら褒美はいくらでもやる家臣としても召し抱えてやるだから命だけは
Then I saw the glint in his eye. The demonic glint stirred a wave of bloodthirst in me. In an instant, the thrust I let loose ruptured his body. The blood splatter left a red tail on me as it ran down my face and kimono. Before me was the corpse of an old man who had ceased to breathe. Now, with this, everything has ended. But within me I felt nothing. Joy enough to give me the shivers. Loathing enough to tear me apart. Neither of them came to the fore. All there was the dry feeling that I no longer had any attachments in this world. Haha. I'm not as happy as I thought I'd be. The cold wind teased my cheek. Normally this wind would be enough to have me shivering involuntarily, but I didn't even feel the cold. Eventually I felt my body become lighter. The curse must be lifting. I felt more than thought that. I barely felt the ache of my wound in my flank I got from Shinpachi anymore. Chamberlain, Yasubi, Chikara. Impressions of the three of them came before my eyes and disappeared, one after the other. The surrounding scenery faded, as if my body was being absorbed by the wind. Chikara, I'm going back. I'll be living on alone. But Chikara, I know you'll forgive me. Chikara, farewell. The last thing I felt was the smell of a certain flower on the wind tickling my nostrils. This flower, yes, plum blossoms. I got the feeling that I had somehow grasped the wind that carried the smell of the plum blossoms to me. 16th year of the Genroku era, 4th day of the 2nd month. The 46 Ronin who had raided Kira Estate and Edo committed seppuku in their separate holdings. This is a historical truth. On the same day, an incident occurred in the Ataya Mountain Pass of the Yonzawa domain. An Isuke palanquin was attacked by persons unknown. Several wounded, one dead. But this incident was buried in the darkness of history. There is no record of this incident in Japanese history. Of course, in the history of the Ronins, the name Fukami Suga does not exist either. 10 months later. We're back into the future, and this is the scene we started this chapter with, so.
さあ全国大会剣道男子成年の部門大詰め。決勝戦は鹿児島県代表神村学園の松本聖吾と東京都代表陵南学園の深見嗣葉との戦い。すでに深見が一本を奪い、松本は後がない展開です。
Man!
決まった！深見の面が見事に決まりました。深見は全国大会初出場で初優勝です。いやー、大谷さん、深見選手の戦いぶりをご覧になっていかがでしたか？
まさかこのような逸材が隠れていたとは驚きです。このまま強くなれば日本剣道史で必ずや名を残す剣道家になるでしょう。
すぐはー、よくやったよ。
Who the heck is Kojiri? I still don't know that.
すごいね。
Or that person. Tayama.
うおー、あの菅葉が全国大会で優勝かよ。
Or that person. Akasaka. I just won. Chikara, I won. But I'm not happy at all.
この度全国大会で優勝した深見くんは我が学園の誇りであり。
ねえねえ、学園長が全校放送してるよ。
Oh, that's Toyama. I completely forgot about him.
よっ、この有名人、一躍学園のヒーローじゃねえか。
Ah, and that's Akasaka. I completely forgot about these two. We haven't seen them since basically the beginning of chapter 1. Damn, that's been a long time.
ねえ、深見くん、ちょっといいかな。
お、なんだなんだ。
なんだろうね。
What is it? Hakamanda?
あのさ、深見くん、前に私と付き合ってくれって言ったじゃん。あの有効期限ってまだ残ってる？私、深見くんの活躍を新聞とかニュースで知って、それでかっこいいなーって思ったんだ。
おお、
すっげえ、まさかの逆告白じゃん。
だからね、深見くんさえよかったら付き合ってもいいよ。私、彼とは別れたしさ。
Sorry. I don't really want to date anyone right now.
しかもまさかの大どんでん返し。
くー、すぐは、お前はどこまでカッコつけやがるんだ？
It's not that. Sorry, I'm going home now.
け、ざまあみろ。株は値が下の時に買わねえと儲からねえんだよ。
何よ。
でもすぐはって変わったよね。怪我が治って退院してからと前とは別人みたいだ。
So that's what happened in that world is he was in the hospital.
そうだよな。前みたいに軽くなくなったっていうか、浮ついた感じが消えちまったよな。
うん。
ねえ、そういえば昨 昨日の夜に関西で大きな地震があったんでしょ？そうなの？もう、ニュースを見てないの？
After killing Kira, I returned to my own world. I heard it afterwards, but back on New Year's Day, I apparently collapsed in front of the graves of the 47 Akaro. I apparently collapsed in front of the graves of the 47 Ronin. There were puncture wounds and stab wounds on several places on my body. It seems that I wandered in between life and death for about 2 weeks. Frankly, I was shocked when I heard about it. Those 2 years, they were only equal to 1 week in my original world. While I was in hospital, the police even came and asked about my wounds, but I kept answering that I knew nothing. In the end, the incident was written off as a crime by some mad street slasher. The investigation is apparently still continuing. Of course, I'm sure they will never arrest the culprit. I did feel sorry for the policeman, because even if I said my wounds were inflicted in the Edo period, no one would believe me. Eventually, my wounds healed, and I started going to school again. Excuse me, is the Kendo Club advisor Yashima-sensei in right now? Yes. I entered the Kendo Club.
すぐは？ごめん、勉強中だった。
No, I was just reading a book. But did you want something?
母さんから聞いたよ。あんた、大学からの推薦入学の話、まだ返事してないんだってね。なんで返事しないの？大学に推薦で行けるなんてすごいじゃない。お父さんもお母さんも喜んでるし。私だって大学で鼻が高いんだよ。すぐは入学するよね。
I still don't know. I still haven't decided if I still want to keep doing kendo.
決めてないって。じゃあどうして3年生になってからまた剣道を始めたのよ。それはすぐはが剣道を諦められなかったから。
It's not that.
違うって。
Sorry, Kojiri? Right, her name is Kojiri. I completely forgot. Could you leave me alone to think a bit longer?
すぐは。
The reason I started doing kendo again, it wasn't because I didn't want to live without it. The reason I started doing kendo again was because I felt an inexpressible pain towards life in the current world. A peaceful society, the marvelous convenience of frozen food, the flood of information, and living every day without purpose. Compared to the Genroku period nowadays, it's that feeling of nervousness so strong it burns your skin. Everyday life intersecting with death. Yet still betting your life on pushing forward towards that one single objective and the people you meet while doing so. To me, living every day with such stimulating sense of fulfillment and satisfaction, I find the world nowadays somehow lacking. But more than all that, the pathetic empty sadness of a world without Chikara leaves me feeling deeply wounded. To heal that wound, I thought if I could just immerse myself in something, it would go away. That something was kendo. I thought that if I devoted myself to kendo, heart and soul, I would forget about her. I expected I would at least find a sense of fulfillment. But I couldn't get the level of fulfillment I had hoped. I should have known that from the start. The sport known as kendo is completely different. Completely different from a fight with a real swordsman. I don't get even the smallest sense of tension facing an opponent in kendo. even when I won in all the nations. I had no sense of achievement of fulfillment. Should I go to college? Even if I do go and keep doing kendo? I whispered to myself while flipping the pages of a history book on my desk. Recently, I've been doing research with books on the mid-Edo period, mainly about the daily habits and culture of samurai and townsfolk. Naturally, the Ronin did pop up occasionally, but in the chronologically, they only take up a few lines. Only a few lines. So many things happened that you could never sum up behind those few lines in the chronology charts. Unfortunately, in most of the books I read, the 47 Ronin were written about only in flowery terms. To me, who had actually seen them, heard them, touched them with my own eyes, ears, and hands, those kinds of articles just weren't the same as the real thing. I just couldn't feel the warmth of my comrades through books alone. The place I collapsed on that day, Sengakuji Temple. I have also been visiting their shrine in Sengakuji Temple every month on the anniversary of their deaths. Chamberlain, your servant Fukamisuga has safely returned to his own time. But you know, Chamberlain, I don't know what I should do now. Couldn't you please tell me what to do? Of course, there was no reply. Then, a little distance from the grave of the Chamberlain, I saw Chikara's grave, and next to that, Yasubi's. It was almost as if Chikara and Yasubi were together in some way I couldn't describe. I looked at the two neighboring graves and felt that it wasn't a coincidence. According to an annotate I read in the history book, the morning their seppuku was announced, suddenly Yasubi lost her cool. It seems the others thought she had suddenly become afraid of dying. They even started talking behind her back that she had gone mad. But apparently Yasubi got her calm back after Chikara had finished her seppuku.
なんでござるか。
いや、力殿は無事最後を遂げたでしょうか。
ご安心くだされ。大石殿はご立派な最後を遂げましたぞ。元服を終えたばかりの若武者とは思えないほどご立派な最後のお姿でした。
そうですか。それが分かれば一安心です。では参りましょうか。
堀部殿。
はい。
遺言に記したこととは別に何か希望はございませんか。それがし赤穂の皆様にはできる限りのことをしたいと思うておる次第で。
遺言に記したこととは別の希望ですか。ならば荒木殿、この安で最後のわがままを聞いていただけますか。
何なりと。
俺の墓は力殿の隣に置いてください。
力殿の墓の隣に。
はい。あの世でも力殿をお守りするのは俺の役目だと思ってますから。
堀部殿、かしこまりました。必ずや今のお言葉お伝えいたします。
So that's what she asked for.
それではお心静かに。
かたじけない。
Yeah. Yasubi would never be afraid of death or seppuku. She was just worried about Chikara. Once Yasubi heard that Chikara met her end peacefully, she was relieved and got her composure back. I think that's so like her. So looking at those two graves next to each other, I can be sure that Yasubi is still protecting Chikara in heaven. I really felt that's how it was. There were some plum blossoms planted near the main temple. Apparently those were the same plum trees that were planted in the Matsudurai estate where Yasubi and Chikara were interned. The same estate was now an embassy. If you ask, you will find the embassy runs a Buddhist memorial service once a year. Yeah, I think Chikara once said that she liked the plum blossoms the most. I should have asked her why. But it's Chikara. I'm sure she had her reasons. Hey Chikara, what did you think of when you looked at those flowers? What did you spend each day thinking about? Did you even think of me even a little? What a pathetic thing to think.
すぐは殿。正直に申すと、私は一度たりともすぐは殿を好きになったことはありません。だから、このようなひどいことが言えるのです。
The last time we met, I can't forget the way she looked then. The image is burned into my retina. Guess I'll go home now. Actually, I'm thinking I'll stop coming to Sengakuji Temple. I always end up thinking of them whenever I do. I always think of Chikara. My sadness and loneliness only gets worse when I come here.
では次のニュースです。昨夜の兵庫県赤穂市を震源とした震度6強の地震ですが、地震の種類は直下型だということが専門家の調査で判明しました。しかし、震度6強という非常に強い揺れながら、幸いにも死者、負傷者はいませんでした。被害が小規模にとどまった理由として、揺れ自体が数秒間で収まったことが一因ではないかというコメントを出しております。なお、赤穂市には赤穂浪士ゆかりの史跡が多く点在しており、市ではそれらの史跡の被害状況を現在調査しているとのことです。
An earthquake in Akko. That reminds me, I still haven't been there yet. I just realized that even though almost a year has passed since I returned to this time, I still haven't been to Akko even once. So Akko City is dotted with many historical landmarks pertaining to the Akko Ronins, which the city is currently investigating for any possible damage. Maybe I should go have a look. Yeah, I'll just go to Akko to have a look around. Then I'll finally move on. If I go to Akko, I might be able to put my feelings in order. Most likely the original castle and buildings are all gone. But if I can just see it, then maybe I can forget everything. Those 2 long years. Everyone I met. Chikara. Today, I used my day off to visit the Akko area. And the Nozami line is awesome. Just a few hours from Tokyo on the bullet train. A journey that would have taken 10 days or more, doesn't feel real. Wow. The usual station walls seem to be plastered with posters of each of the Akko Ronins. It is their actual home, after all. You can feel the history of the Akko Ronins all throughout the town of Akko. So this is Akko. Upon alighting in Akko, a rural town just like any other in Japan spread out before me. Of course, the lay of the land I knew from my time here had changed completely. I don't even feel nostalgic when I look around at all. So, first I'll go to the castle. From my research, the Akko castle was destroyed during the Meiji era, so that only the stone walls and the moat were left. But during the Showa, it was designated as a historic national landmark, so the watchtowers and the gates, etc., have been steadily rebuilt. It was about 20 minutes walk from the station. When I got there, I saw the gates from the Edo period standing magnificently rebuilt. So this is the rebuilt gate. It's pretty impressive. I watched the castle be handed over 3 times from this spot. The first time I went to Yamashina with the Chamberlain. The second time I went to Edo with Yasubi. And then the third time solicited by Chikara Yamashina again. And then... No, I can't. I didn't come all the way to Akko to get all sentimental. I came to get over this, so I have to stop thinking about all that. Wow. So there's an Ohishi Shrine now. The next place I went was the Ohishi Shrine near the castle. This shrine? It has statues of the 47 Ronin in a row. I could just see the main shrine at the end of the row. So, what's this? Ohishi Shrine. Ohishi Shrine was officially founded in Meiji 33 by Imperial Order. It was established in order to worship the achievements of the 47 loyal retainers in November of the first year of the Tosho era, 1912. This was on the explanatory sign near the shrine. So this shrine was built in the Taisho period. But I guess it would be. This definitely wasn't here back when I was. Without realizing, I let out a chuckle. I wonder what the Chamberlain would say if she heard that a shrine like this would be built in one day.
かわいい女子が祈ってくれたら、その願いは叶えてあげようかな。じゃが、むさい男の願いなどは叶えぬぞ。
Something like that. I left the temple with a wry smile, while imagining what she might say. Inside the shrine there was a building that served as an archive, where there were things like swords and armor, and wooden statues on display. But, just looking at those, I don't feel any particularly strong emotions. Still, everything really is gone. Unfortunately, with the Meiji government's order abolishing the castle system, all the castles in Japan were destroyed. Now, Akko Castle was not an exception. This is pretty amazing. Next was the remains of the estate that Chamberlain and Chikara had lived in. This estate had been repaired many times and was designated as a historic national landmark in the Taisho era. I felt it at the castle gates, but Japanese building techniques were really amazing. The road was asphalt, but the appearance was the same as during the Edo period. I suddenly felt the misapprehension that the Chamberlain or Chikara might come out of the front gates at any moment. I can't imagine how happy I would be if they really were inside right now. All puffing my chest with this simple-minded hope, I stepped inside. But, of course, they weren't there. The attentive trim of the trees, along with the sight of the garden centered on the small, rippleless pond, spread before me. With a little disappointment, I sat down on the nearby bench. This is where Chikara was born and raised. I started to think while looking around the garden. She must have run around here laughing while she was young. I bet she would sometimes fall and cry too. But still, she must have received her education as an elder of the Akko domain under the Chamberlain's guidance and grown into a praiseworthy samurai. If the incident in Edo had never happened, I'm sure she would have tranquilly lived on her whole life here.
おお、そうじゃ。すっかりスのことを忘れておった。ただし、実は このすぐはは松之丞の許嫁になったのじゃぞ。え、許嫁？
What?
母上、許嫁。
This cannot be true. The Chamberlain is just saying this without my consent.
松之丞殿？まあ、そういうことになるのかな。
No, it isn't. All that time ago, I remembered now the happenings when I came to this place. Now those sounds no longer reach my ears. Guess I'll go. I took one last look around the garden and left. This is enough. The buildings themselves have been restored and a little of their former glory is still here. But this is not the Akko I knew. Yes, the town is the same as it was in the time of the Akko Ronins. But it is in form alone. The scenery and the people walking by, even the air is completely different. Then I had a thought. Could those 2 years have all been just a dream? Was I really just stabbed by a random criminal at Sengakuji Temple? With everything was just a dream I saw while I was floating between life and death? As proof, there is no evidence here that I ever existed in this time. It was just a very realistic dream. If I can just think that, then a little weight might be lifted off my shoulders. It was a coincidence. I stopped upon seeing a large number of disorderly arranged stone steps in the corner of my vision. While the surrounding area had been completely modernized, those steps seemed to have been left forgotten by time. I remember seeing those steps somewhere. Aren't these nostalgia mixed with a strange feeling? But if my memory is correct, there should be a shrine at the top of these. And that shrine is the shrine where I first met Chikara the first and third times. I wonder if that boulder was still there. Without warning, these thoughts floated across my mind. What should I do? Even if I go, there's probably nothing there. It's been over 300 years after all. Still, I'm only here for one day. I want to leave Akko with no regrets. Should I go have a look? I whispered to no one in particular. I slowly start to ascend the stone stairway. Phew. It's been a while, but as always, those stairs really are steep. Looks like the training I got from doing sports leave me lacking for these stairs. Even though it's spring, sweat drops start to form on my forehead from the long climb. Oh. Looks like the shrine is safe and sound too. It did seem a little newer than what I knew from before, but it was still enshrined in the same place. So, now for the boulder I came here for. I headed for the back of the grounds where I knew the stone was. And just then, a gust of wind blew that shook the trees. Oh. There it is. In front of me stood enshrined the boulder, the same as it was 300 years ago. Chikara's boulder. 300 years ago. It is by no means the recent past. So many events and disasters have changed the scenery in this town since then. But here alone, everything was unchanged, as if time had stopped. I hurriedly turned around upon hearing a voice. There was Miko, Shrine Maiden, standing behind me with a dubious look on her face.
ここ で何をしているのですか？
Oh, I saw a stone staircase down below, so I was curious.
もしかして観光客の方ですか？
Yes, I came from Tokyo.
なんだ、そっか。もう、だから立ち入り禁止の看板を立てておいた方がいいって言ったのに。
She almost looks like Sayo. Just a little bit. Hum?
ああ、すみません。そういう事情とは知らず、突然声をかけちゃって。
On finding out I was a tourist, the girl's expression became much softer. Is it just my imagination that this girl looks a little like Sayo? I'm just saying that. She looks a little like Sayo.
私はこの神社の宮司見習いのよりこって言います。
Hi. Sorry, but was this area actually off limits?
ああ、そういうわけじゃないんですけど。最近大きな地震が起きたじゃないですか。実はその時このお岩が動いちゃったんですよ。
It moved?
動いたというより回転したと言った方がいいかもしれませんね。もともとこの大岩は今の場所よりも数メートル陸側にあったんですけど、地震のせいで90度回転しながら海側に倒れて今の場所に移動しちゃったんです。
It rotated 9 degrees from where it was to where it is now. So then this boulder was previously in another spot?
はい。それが何か？
Oh no. According to what the girl said, the boulder was enshrined a few meters towards us up until the earthquake the other day. I noticed the witch's hats dotted around it, along with a hollow just on the other side, which looked to have been made by some heavy object over many years. But it still felt a little suspicious hearing this. This boulder was more inland than now. That can't be right. This should be the original position of the boulder. I know this because I saw it with my own eyes 300 years ago. There is no mistaking it.
これ、こんなところで何をやっておる？
あ、じいちゃん。
またこんなところで仕事をサボっておるのか？
私別にサボってないよ。この人が大岩の前にいたから危ないって注意してたのよ。
危ない。
そうよ。地震で大岩が動いたでしょ。
なんじゃ、そんなことか。別に危なくなんかないわい。
それってどういうことよ？
どういうことも何も。この前のような大地震、次に来るのは300年後じゃ。
300 years? What does this head priest know? 300 years?
なんでそんなことがわかるのよ。地震なんて誰にも予知はできないでしょ。ごめんなさいね。じいちゃん猛録してるから時々わけわかんないこと言うんですよ。
わしは猛録などしておらん。
Excuse me. Did you say that the next earthquake won't be for another 300 years just now? Why exactly did you say 300 years?
じいちゃんのヨタ話に付き合う必要なんかないですよ。
聞きたいか？
If that's okay.
この話はこの神社に代々伝わってる話でな。実は300年前、正確に言うと311年前にも同じような地震が赤穂に起こっておるのじゃよ。
311年前？
その時大岩は今回起こった地震前の場所に移動したそうじゃ。
じゃあその311年前の地震が起こる前までは今の場所に大岩があったってこと？
そういうことじゃな。
A similar earthquake happened in Akko more than 300 years ago. Isn't that... What's wrong?
その赤穂のことなんですが、髪型から下ってきた同志の話だと、先月大きな地揺るぎがあったらしいです。
え、赤穂で地揺るぎが？
幸い死人や怪我人などは出なかったようですが、城、神社仏閣には大きな被害があったそうです。
The earthquake 300 years ago. That must be the earthquake that Shinroku was talking about.
というわけで、当分は地震など起きませんから、ゆっくりと見物していってよいですぞ。こんな寂れた神社じゃが、ここからの景色はなかなかのものですからの。
Oh, okay.
より子、お前はこんなところでサボってないで、境内の掃除でもしておれ。
はいはい。
Finished with talking, the two of them went back inside the shrine. So, that's how it is. The boulder returned to its original position from the recent earthquake. I timidly approached the boulder and softly laid my hands on it. The sunlight was strong, but the face of the boulder was strangely cool. I see. This spot is cool because it is a boulder's shadow. Just like the old man said, I couldn't complain about the view either. I was captivated by the spectacle before my eyes. There, spread out before me, was the Harima Nada Sea. From here? You gazed out at the sea from here, didn't you? The only circumstances were she could trust no one. To ease the pressure she bore from being the daughter of the Doubting Elder, here alone, Chikara gazed out at the sea. Isn't this great, Chikara? The place you loved is still here. But there was no one to answer me. Of course, this place being Chikara's favorite place was only in my imagination. She, along with her voice and her scent, were no longer here. And her warmth, too. Alright then. Now I have no more regrets. There is no point in staying any longer. Guess I'll go back to Tokyo. Almost feeling sorry for the remnants of this place, I pat the surface of the boulder one last time. Huh? Just then, I pulled my hand back after feeling an unevenness in the rock face. What's this? As soon as I touched it, I felt a roughness. What's this? Graffiti? No. It's not that. This is graffiti, but it's not normal graffiti. I squint while touching the rough portions of the boulder. It can't be. It's been 300 years. I can't believe that something like that could still be left. But this... Before I realized, I was sprinting. Even while thinking I must be wrong. I also thought that I must be right.
バッター一郎
Excuse me. A crayon.
クレヨンですか？中地じゃなくて？
Yes, a crayon.
妹が使ってるクレヨンでよければ。
Yes, please, I need one.
はい。
After borrowing a crayon from the girl, I came back to the boulder. Then I rubbed the crayon over the rugged surface of the rock, as if possessed. Squeak, 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 squeak. Arg, damn it. I should have borrowed something to wipe this with. I was panicking, so I had no time to think of what I would do after I did the rubbing. But now I can't even stand the time it would take to do that. I'll just use my t-shirt. I removed the shirt I was wearing and wiped the area I had rubbed with the crayon. Rub, rub. Rub, rub. Eventually, most of the crayon disappeared from the rock face. The color remained in just the rough bits. There on the rock face was an artificial roughness. I'm certain it was a carving left by someone with a blade. And letters. Shapes. Yes. There was a love umbrella. Under it was written the characters for Suga and Chikara. Wait, what? It wasn't a dream? What the hell? What the hell is this? Huh? What's wrong?
スガハ殿、この文字と絵は何でしょう？
This is a love umbrella.
あいあい傘？あいあい傘とは何ですか？
It's basically graffiti used to tease couples who are dating.
付き合ってる男女。
When two people are trying to get away from the rain under a single umbrella, they have to come closer together to not get wet, right? That kind of looks like the way a couple squeezes together, so it's called a love umbrella. See, there's the names of a man and woman under it.
ああ、この名前はそのような意味だったのですね。なるほど。付き合っている男女が肩寄せ合うように見える。ならば、こういうことですね。自分が大好きだった場所。
You liked that boulder more than anywhere in Nako, right? You were the one who told me that. Go, take your time and have another look. Go listen to the sounds of the waves.
すぐは殿。かたじけない。では、少しだけ寄っていきますね。今日でここからの景色も見納めか。私の大好きな場所。せめて最後に私がここにいたことを残したいと思うのは罪だろうか。罰当たりなことかもしれぬが。こんなものだろう。あいあい傘。すぐは力。これでお互い付き合ってるのだよな。
During her time at the boulder, the reason it took her an hour is because she did that.
いつかすぐは殿と夫婦になって見に来られたら。仇討ちに参加する私などには叶わぬ夢だな。
So, did you have a nice look?
ああ、はい。すぐは殿に言われた通り、目で景色を眺め、耳で波の音を聞いてきました。ついでに少し罰当たりなこともしてきちゃいましたけどね。
That's what she's talking about for a prank. That's it. She must have been talking about carving that love umbrella. Even if it never came to that, we could be married. She must have wanted to leave proof of her feelings somewhere. But even if she carved it with a sword, these letters would have disappeared with the exposure of the elements. But the reason they didn't, that was because the boulder had been flipped over by the earthquake that Shinroku talked about. The side that with the love umbrella was glued to the ground after the boulder flipped 90 degrees towards the landside. Whether a blessing or a misfortune, the umbrella had remained all these years without being exposed to the elements. Then, with the earthquake the other day, it rolled 90 degrees towards the ocean, exposing the marks once again. Just like in a fairy tale. But this a love umbrella. It's proof of my existence 300 years ago. What the heck? In the end, you did love me. You were asking me to betray our comrades. Betray you in exchange for my life. Do you understand?
はい、分かっています。我らは天下の法に背いた一党。おそらくスグハ殿とはこれで今生の別れとなるでしょう。
How can you say such words?
そうですね。私がスグハ殿のことが嫌いだからでしょうか。
What?
スグハ殿、正直に申すと、私は一度たりともスグハ殿を好きになったことはありません。だからこのようなひどいことが言えるのです。
What the hell? So you did love me in the end. I kinda took that personally, you know? When you said you never even loved me a bit. I was filled with a flood of emotions. But Chikara's, I will always treasure the feelings of the woman I loved. In this truth, I felt a faint glimmer. Like a distant memory in the clear autumn sky. Metaphor for a maiden's fitful love. I may not be able to walk shoulder to shoulder with you anymore. But still, I am sure our hearts are connected. No matter where we are, no matter when we are, I can believe. That's why I can move on now. For the woman, the person who once loved me. More than anything for my own sake. Now, I can move on. Better go home now. I feel relieved and calm now. As if my tears washed away all the sadness. Of course, I feel sad that I won't be able to see Chikara again. But I feel like I have something to live for now. That is enough for me now. After tracing the love umbrella scribble, I left Akko. Phew. I felt sore all over after I arrived home. A day trip between Tokyo and Akko must have been too hard on me. I'll take a bath and sleep early tonight. And tomorrow, I'll inform my teacher and my parents that I will go to the university they recommended. I want to take courses in history. Japanese history, to be particular. I want to major in Japanese history and tell the world about the Akko Ronin and their still unknown facts. If I do so,
ちょっと
at that moment, a girl suddenly appeared in front of me.
あなたが深見すぐはね。
What? Yes I am. Who are you? Are you... I was shocked to see her face. Yeah, she looks exactly like Ichigaku. Her light-colored hair and eyes sharp as a panther. I recognized her eyes. That was because Shimizu Ichigaku. Why is she in this era?
どうやらあなたでは歴史を変えられなかったようね。
Huh? I couldn't change history?
なら私が歴史を変える。私が赤穂浪士を英雄などにはさせない。
What did she... Never let the Akko Ronin become heroes? What? What does she mean by that? Wasn't everything all sorted out? No, it cannot be. What I thought was finished was just a misunderstanding of mine. And from now is the real beginning. I couldn't say a word. Although the mysterious woman already turned away and disappeared in the distance. The beginning of an end. The wheels of time that were silent started to roll again. Yes, the wheels of fortune for the Akko Ronin and I were about to move forward again. Whoa. And then it ends. That was crazy. Wow. How was Shimizu Ichigaku in the modern era? That's insane. Holy. And she's talking like as if she's gonna go back and change history herself. That's one thing I also didn't understand was why she wasn't in the third raid. Like, she had been in the previous two before that, but for the third one, she was nowhere to be found. That's weird. Huh. I don't know. Well, anyway, let's go look at this. We are now, since we've done Act 3, we can now go on to Chapter 4, or Act 4, Revenge Blooms, Settling Old Scores. So, yeah. I guess we'll find out what they're talking about in the next episode. So, as always, this is Jeff Kitty, signing off. Hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.